Hello everyone and welcome back to NCAA04, the Alabama Crimson Tide challenge, or Dynasty mode rather. We started off the season losing our first game to USF, an absolute shootout, and hey man, don't be surprised, okay? This is Alabama of old, not current Alabama, so they could very well lose that game. Remember last year when they played USF on the road and it was like 17-3? Do you guys remember that? That weird game? I think they benched Jordan Milroe, didn't they? Either way. So we are now going into week 2. It is another home game, but this is not the same opponent as USF. This is number 1 Oklahoma. Okay, we have the number 1 Oklahoma Sooners coming to Tuscaloosa to play us. And it is, of course, a prime time game, because why wouldn't it be? So, I guess because we're just lowly Alabama, we just lost to USF, so we're not top billing TV. So we're just, I guess Oklahoma's just bringing all the TV and cameras with them. So, we're still a big SEC opponent. So, the goal for the year is still pretty much laid out at least getting close to 500 and maybe getting a bowl game. That's what I would like to do. I'm not super worried about getting into the SEC title game. I'm not super worried about winning our bowl game. I just kind of want to get to one, because if we can at least get to one and play for something bigger than just 6-6 or 6-7, then that'll probably help us with recruiting when we get into recruitings. And recruiting is going to be important because, remember, we're losing a whole bunch of our team. Like, our entire receiving corps is gone. None of them are good, mind you, but we still need people to be on the roster to catch the football, and we're not going to have really many of those once the season is over. And there's a lot of defensive positions that are also going to need quite a bit of help through graduation, through recruiting, because they're graduating. So we're going to get into this game, man. I'm not expecting a whole lot against Oklahoma because, again, it is the number 1 team in the country. And after one quarter, neither team can really strike the end zone. But we have ourselves some momentum building here coming out of that little intermission. It is a deep pass, and number 2 hauls that one inside the 5-yard line. So it looks like we're probably going to strike first against the Sooners, if you can believe it. We're just going to say that's a hometown advantage, the home crowd advantage. So I switched up our coaching strategies, and I switched up the sliders for the CPU just to see if that would get us some different results here. So on 1st and goal, quarterback's going to roll out and then plant his feet and try to throw it into the end zone, and there was just a whole mess of players. No one's really looking for the football. So 2nd and goal, we're going to hand it off to 21, and he's going to bust his way through the line of scrimmage and get into the end zone for the first score of the game. And your Alabama Crimson Tide have struck first against the Sooners, man. And I didn't realize this until I recorded the entire first season over the last couple days, but we play a lot of red and white teams, including, we are ourselves red and white, and we play a lot of them. So we play Arkansas in a couple weeks, and we're starting off with Oklahoma now, and then eventually we play Georgia. I didn't realize how popular red and white was in college football, but it is. So Oklahoma's finally answering back here. They're finally moving the football. They weren't going to stay down for long. You probably could have guessed that. So uncorking another deep ball, and he cannot connect with his receivers. That one sails out of bounds. So on 4th and 9, Oklahoma's going to keep the offense on the field. I guess it was 4-down territory for them. They have plenty of time left in the first half here, but they're tired of the offense just stalling out, and it is a humongous arm punt. It is essentially just an arm punt, but because of the touchback, it's only going to be about 10 yards because they snapped that one for maybe the 30 or 35, and then we're going to get it at about the 20 because of the touchback. But off of a sack here, it is now 2nd and 16 with a minute 20 left to go. Another deep ball, and it is hauled in by number 3. There's a whole mess of Sooners over there, but somehow one of our receivers comes down with it at the Oklahoma 40-yard line. So we now are got new life here with a minute left to go. Delayed handoff, and number 21 making people miss in the middle of the field before getting brought down. So it is another first down here. We're going to start playing around with time to see if we can't get some more points over the Sooners before halftime. So pressure is picked up nicely in the pocket, and that one is uncorked to, I think, the running back out of the backfield. Number 21 was the one who hauled that one in. So he's doing everything through the air and on the ground. So it is 1st and goal now for the Crimson Tide. 49 seconds left to go in this ball game. The clock, of course, stopped, but now it's running again. And on the run, man, the pressure was coming from all sides. Oklahoma just sent the entire house. They were going to try and catch us lacking here, maybe force a mistake from our quarterback, but he did a smart job of just getting rid of that one. So on 2nd goal, we're going to go with a fullback dive, and the fullback is going to get into the end zone for the 2nd score of the game. So now we are taking things ahead now. like way ahead of the Sooners. So don't look now, man. A 14-0 lead over Oklahoma. Number 1 Oklahoma after one half of football. So anything can happen. And we're looking at the kickoff now, the second half kickoff. It is a booming kickoff, and now it is fielded, return past the 10, the 15, the 20, and it is fumbled on the return, and Oklahoma's going to pick it up and have prime field position at our 20-yard line. So a red zone opportunity off the bat for Oklahoma coming out of the little halftime intermission. So quarterback is going to draw back here. He's got a clean enough pocket, gets rid of this one to the right side of the field, and I don't know what that receiver was doing. Maybe he just wasn't paying attention, wasn't looking for the football. I really don't know. So on 2nd and 10 now, just about 4:50 left to go. Only about 10 seconds have expired in the quarter. They're going to go with the option here. Fakes the pitch. He's going to keep it himself and then get rid of it at the last second. Gets bobbled off of a defender. It was a terrible time to pitch it. I think the quarterback was better off just holding on to it. It would have been down at about the 2-yard line. Instead, they risked giving up the ball, but they did not. They managed to retain possession, so it's going to be 1st and goal at about the 4-yard line for the Sooners. They're going to go with a handoff here, and we have that play read perfectly. Read it like a book. Perfectly read. So we're going to keep Oklahoma out of the end zone for at least one more play. So on 2nd and goal, going to try and throw for it, and there's a ton of pressure in the quarterback's face. He doesn't drop back nearly enough, just kind of stands firm in the pocket and gets gobbled up. Can't really get rid of that one. So on 3rd and goal, finally, they break some ground here, find an open receiver in the back. We sent the whole kitchen sink. Only had about 2 or 3 guys in coverage, and they just could not seem to lock down their guys. So as that receiver for Oklahoma manages to haul it in, and it's now 14-7. So we were unable to do anything on offense, and Oklahoma is now moving again on offense. So here's our 14-point lead being completely jeopardized. It is about to vanish in front of our very own eyes as Oklahoma gets a nice completion to get themselves just outside of the red zone here. It looks like about our own 25 is where they're at now. So on 1st and 10, it's a fake handoff, and then they're going to throw it out across the middle of the field. It was, again, a whole mess of players, but fortunately for Oklahoma, a receiver comes down with it with the number 29. That's gross. 29 for a receiver? It's college, I guess. Anything makes sense, so getting down to about 2 minutes here in the 3rd quarter, so 1st and 10, another fake handoff, and the pressure is on, so the quarterback's just got to flush out of the backfield and see if he can't pick up some yardage here. I don't think he expected the pressure to be on nearly that quickly, but it was, as Oklahoma's trying a lot of long developing plays here, but that time they get rid of the ball quick into the middle of the end zone and find an open receiver for another Oklahoma touchdown. So we're tied up here in the last 10 seconds of the 3rd quarter. Pressure's on to our quarterback as he uncorks a deep ball and finds number 2 again, who hauls it in, man. He has been getting all of those deep passes and helping us generate anything really on offense, as it's been a tough back and forth now in this 3rd quarter with the Oklahoma Sooners. So here we are in the 4th quarter. Get your 4s up because it has been a tough affair. Oklahoma is not going down without a fight. They are the number 1 team in the nation. Essentially, their whole season is staked on this if they can't manage to really do anything. They can't manage to win this game here, and so our quarterback gets gobbled up in the pocket, and that ball gets propelled forward, but the game's going to rule it as a fumble, and the defense is going to pick it up and then fumble it on the return, but I think ultimately they're the ones who come down with it. So I don't know how that one was a fumble. I guess maybe the release point wasn't a forward motion, but the ball got propelled forward, so I don't know. I really don't know, but Oklahoma's going to get a prime opportunity with the football, and they're taking good advantage of that opportunity as another deep ball gets them now deep in Alabama territory. They've now flipped the field essentially. So from our 40-yard line, the quarterback's going to drop back, clean pocket. Another deep ball goes up in the air, and it's another arm punt, basically. I guess you can't really call it an arm punt since it wasn't 3rd and long, but just another jump ball basically. It ends up as a pick for your Crimson Tide defense. So now it is going the other way. So we have a whole length of the field to go now, but we're going to eliminate most of that distance with just one simple play, as the deep ball has been working for this Crimson Tide offense all game long. I'm shocked to see that the deep ball has been as effective as it is. So on 2nd and 5 now, just under 3 minutes left in the 4th quarter. Quarterback just kind of scrambling around in the pocket here, and we find number 2 who gets hauls it in and gets brought down, rather, at the 20-yard line. So we are moving on offense, man. This is a potential go-ahead touchdown or field goal in the making, but not when you do things like that. Our quarterback rolls into the pressure off the edge. That edge rusher didn't really have to do a whole lot of work because the quarterback just came right to him. So 2nd and 18 now. Quarterback dropping back, and again pressure comes off the edge. It was a cornerback blitz. Quarterback didn't see him, just came right off, untouched, unbothered, and now it's 3rd and 23. So now in a somewhat clean pocket, he steps up into the pressure, and that defensive tackle gets home and crushes number 12. And the ball came out again, but I guess they're going to rule that an incomplete pass. But on 4th and 23, we're going to keep the offense on the field. We got nothing to lose as Alabama. We are unranked, and it pays off as we find a receiver gets brought down at the 1-yard line. Unbelievable. On 4th and 23, can you believe in miracles like this? Pressure again was on, man. Another guy coming off the edge and couldn't quite get to the quarterback, and there was a lot of coverage downfield too. So just an amazing turn of events. And 21 is just going to dive for the end zone with the drive that we've had. He knows anything is possible. We could lose the football again, so he's just going to dive and make the safe play. And so now 21-14 is your score. Oklahoma with a minute and change left to operate, and a deep ball is going to get them inside our 30-yard line. Just one single play, and they've already flipped the field and are looking now to answer back to our score. So under a minute left to go, Oklahoma's now just kind of budgeting with the time now. It's all pretty much in their hands. Another completion to number 9 gets them out of bounds at about maybe the 12 or 13 yard line. Or excuse me, that was number 5 who all that went in. So 1st and 10 now for the Sooners. The clock is stopped at 53 seconds because they went out of bounds. We send a whole bunch of pressure, and it leaves up some open guys downfield, as I guess our DBs aren't really the best here in man coverage. So with 40 seconds left to go now, tied at 21 again, we find another open man, number 1, downfield, and that's going to get us at maybe about the Oklahoma 40-yard line just about. So on 1st and 10, it's a high snap, and we get rid of the ball quickly again. It's another open target found, brought down inside the Oklahoma 30-yard line. So we are moving the ball here. We have plenty of time. We are essentially in game-winning field goal territory now. We just have to be smart, one, with the football, and smart with how we budget our time. So 25 seconds left to go. We're running the hurry up and just wasting time now, essentially just waiting for the snap. So our quarterback's going to drop back now. Oklahoma sends about 4 or 5 guys, and it is a terrible interception in the end zone. Why are we throwing for it? Why are we throwing for it? Why are we not just going for the field goal? Maybe they knew that his range wasn't anywhere close, but still, you probably could have ran for at least another 5 or 10 yards, maybe got it, but I don't know. I guess we were just going for the end zone, going for the touchdown, rather. I don't know if I can fully agree with Sick Naben's game plan right there. So 15 seconds for Oklahoma. I guess they could try and throw like a Hail Mary and maybe get it into our territory, but instead they're going to throw a pick. So both teams are throwing for it, and they're not going to play for overtime. I guess Oklahoma thought that they still had a chance to win the game. I don't know what they were thinking. The CPU in this game is a little bit weird, but it's another pick. So both teams exchange interceptions on back-to-back plays, and now this one works in our favor as we have the ball right back about maybe 10 yards behind where we had it when we threw our pick. Maybe it was just about where our line of scrimmage was. So we have this one going the other way, and now just playing it safe, we're going to bring out the kicker and try and walk off the number 1 ranked team in the country. The kick is up, and it is good. And your Alabama Crimson Tide are going to walk off the number 1 ranked Oklahoma Sooners in our first game that we were watching here. So losing to USF last week and beating the number 1 ranked team in the country in the second week. Can you believe it? Sick Naben. This is the type of magic that he has, man. Over the years, the thing that we've all hated about Alabama and Nick Saban is the fact that they just always have that X factor. They always win these games they shouldn't win, games that they should lose, and that was probably a game that we should lose with all the turnovers that were exchanged. But because we got that Sick Naben magic, man, we managed to win this game that we had zero business winning whatsoever, especially after losing one of our pup matches to a group of 5 teams. So either way, taking a look now, breaking this down, the stats are pretty even, man. The offense and first down, numbers are all pretty similar. Third down, same third down percentage, same third down attempts, man. This is a completely deadlocked, even game. We had an extra trip to the red zone, it looks like. The turnover battle was an absolutely brutal one, to be sure. Oklahoma with 2 fumbles, but they don't lose any of them. So I guess maybe that was them winning the turnover battle. I don't know. They threw a couple really bad picks. So taking a look now at our individual stats here. Quarterback actually had a decent game. He does have the interception, but his completion percentage was decent. Threw for 278 yards, so you can't be super mad. I mean, I guess you'd like a receiving touchdown probably at the most. But our running back, not a whole lot of yardage, but 2 touchdowns, really kind of putting the team on his back when we look at it. So here's our defensive breakdown as well. 3 picks to speak of between our DBs. So that is going to end things for this week here. And now we're going to sim through here or look ahead towards our next game or two. We're going to get into our first SEC matchup now with the Kentucky Wildcats. So coming out of things here, we lose our first game, of course. I can't believe we won it. But simming ahead to the next week, we're now ranked 19th, and Oklahoma has dropped to 12. So we have essentially kind of torpedoed Oklahoma's season off of that win, and we have completely changed the outlook of ours. So hopefully you see you guys in the next video when we do our first SEC matchup against the Kentucky Wildcats, man. It's going to be a tough one.